Mr. Ladd, would you introduce yourself? Tell us your name and DOC number.
Hi, good morning. My name is Frederick L, DOC number 480740.
Yes, sir, Mr. Ladd. And do you have a parole revocation questionnaire? What's that paper in your hand?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay, let me find my copy of it. Is that your signature dated July 5th, 2023 at the bottom?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so based on that information, sir, it was determined you're not eligible for appointed counsel, so we're ready to proceed with the revocation decision this morning.
Okay.
Ready? I'll read some allegations against you, after which you'll enter a plea of guilty or not guilty, and then we'll have a discussion about your plea, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
You're accused of violating the conditions of your parole, specifically condition number 3, which says you moved from the address of record, which was 2613 Alger Street in New Orleans, without updating your new address with probation or parole. You were living at 2300 Village Circle, apartment 312 in Bedford, Texas, and working in Texas at Jimmy John's. 2301 Airport Freeway, West Euless, Texas. That's the address of Jimmy John's. On January 12, 23, at the time of the incident where you are accused of indecent assault that took place at 2301 Airport Freeway. A warrant was issued on January 23rd, 2023 for the subject you from that incident. You left the state of Louisiana without a travel permit. The police report provided by the Euless Police Department shows that you provided an address of 2300 Village Circle, apartment 312 in Bedford, Texas. How do you plead to violating condition number 3?
Guilty, Your Honor.
Okay. Next is condition number 4. You failed to refrain from criminal conduct as outlined in the police report provided by the Euless Police Department. You were working in Texas at Jimmy John's on January 12th, 2023, at the time of the incident where you are accused of indecent assault that took place at the 2301 Airport Freeway address. A warrant was issued on January 23rd, 2023. From that incident, that charge is still pending. How do you plead?
Guilty, Your Honor.
Not guilty?
Yes, ma'am.
And then condition number 6. Agent Weldenbacher reported the subject has failed to provide proof of employment to our office at the time of the office visit where the subject was arrested for the outstanding warrant in Texas. He stated that he works at Jimmy John's in Texas and asked that I call his supervisor, whose name is Jordan, and let him know that he is being arrested. On July 10th, 2023, I called Jimmy John's location where the subject was employed and spoke with the general manager, Phil, who stated that the subject has been employed there for 6 months. How do you plead to violating condition number 6?
Not guilty, Your Honor.
Okay. And then lastly is condition number 10. You failed to ever make a single payment towards supervision fees and are currently $1,260 in arrears. How do you plead to violating condition number 10?
Guilty, Your Honor.
Okay. Would you answer Mrs. Wise questions, please?
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Mr. Ladd, you had talked with your officer several times about ICOPS. Y'all had made appointments. It was Ohio and then Texas. So tell us why you didn't go ahead and go to Texas.
Well, I was basically I ended up working for Local 60. In the process of that, I was being shot at constantly, and I feared for my life. And I ended up losing my cell phone, my original phone that I had.
Okay.
And then so I did reach back out to my parole officer because he left the card on the door.
But you knew where the office was. You knew where the office was.
Well, honestly, they had a little section at the bottom of the courthouse. I had to ask my judge who presided over my case where that was. just to find out
okay.
what the office was. They didn't have a real building.
Okay,
So yeah, we didn't have a building, like no location. So, and I didn't feel safe at 2613 Parker because constantly I was being shot at. My father ended up being shot at for driving my truck. So I was trying to stay by my mother, but I really couldn't because it's not her house. And
okay,
I did make him aware that I feared for my life. And he just basically was telling me, hold on.
okay, okay. And you wasn't involved in anything. Somebody was just picking on you. This fear for your life was not a retaliation thing or anything like that.
I guess the charge that I was previously on, they assumed that I really did it. And they was just after me for that.
I'm sorry to hear that. You didn't report it to the police. That was not your option. You didn't go that way.
No, ma'am. Because I honestly, in my heart, I believe that it's so many people. I honestly feel like they have family members that just work everywhere. I honestly feel that way. I honestly believe.
Okay, and I just want to state this because if your offense, you were a manager at a fast food place. We got all those records, even from your boss, for how you handled that young lady. How old are you today?
I am 38.
You're 38 and she's what, like 21, 22?
I don't know her age.
Yeah. And for you to carry on like that, do you have sisters, brothers? Do you have sisters, I mean?
I have 2 sisters.
Would you want somebody to do to them what you did to her?
No, ma'am. I honestly just really gave a hug. We used to flirt every day. So I didn't.
Yeah. Say what now?
I'm sorry, I say honestly, we used to just flirt every day. So I didn't we used to do this
But
every
it crossed the line. It crossed the line. The videotape pays out that you crossed the line and flirted. And I just hope you don't put another young lady through that who's just trying to work a job, trying to come to work and work a job. That's all I had, Chairman.
All right, we have somebody who's joined us, ma'am. Is there something you'd like to say?
Yeah, I'm here. Well, I met him before he was working for Jimmy John.
Could you introduce yourself, please, and then tell us your relationship? And then what would you like?
My name is Laquithia Glover.
Okay.
I am a friend of his. We have previously dated or whatever. Well, I met him prior when before he was working for Jimmy John's. So I do know that he did speak with his lawyer or his attorney or the probation guy or whatever. He was actually here when he spoke with him. And so he did know that he was here. He did know that he was working. I do know that he did previously tell him that, okay, well, I know that you're working, just keep in contact. And when you come, just keep making your reports and all that. So I know he was leaving and going to report. And then he was actually coming right back to keep himself out of that, danger area or whatever. So I do know that. I know he works really hard. He was going to work every day, taking care of what he needed to take care of. So there wasn't any issues there. I do know that his manager did tell him that he is eligible to come back as soon as everything is taken care of. So that's pretty much what I'm waiting on. So I do keep in contact with his boss. He does his daily check-ins and stuff like that to make sure everything is okay and all that. But we do state that he's still eligible to come back to work.
Okay, good. Well, thanks for sharing that information with us. We appreciate it. Mr.
No
Laz,
problem.
you'd like to say to us before we vote?
He's a good person.
No, and we'll go back to Mr. Ladd.
I would just like to say that I understand what Ms. Wise was saying, but
Go ahead.
I understand that what Ms. Wise was saying, but like I said, we usually flirt every day. I saw the video also. I do understand. I guess I got too close to her, but I didn't physically grab her or do anything of that nature. And I'm guessing I really feel like she just because she had lost her job at a daycare or whatever. And I assume that she wanted my job position because she lost that job. And ultimately, she ended up being the one fired and not me, because she made everyone else feel uncomfortable there. She had like 16-year-olds feeling uncomfortable because she threatened to get her boyfriend to shoot up the job and disrespected the military branch with one guy named Tim. And it just was a bunch of different things. And like I said, ultimately, I was still there. And I would have probably still been there. And the reason I wasn't doing child support, paying my parole, because I am on child support. So, and it's hard for me to really pay where I lay and while being on child support also. That's all I wanted to,
Thank you, sir. We appreciate your input.
Yes.
Mrs. Wax.
Mr. Ladd, for me, my vote is to revoke your supervision. I find you guilty of the allegations that's been set forth and the original sentence to be imposed.
Mr. Rushing.
Mr. Ladd, based upon you pleading guilty to violating condition 3, absconding your supervision, and pleading guilty to condition 10 of your supervision contract, I'm going to revoke your supervision.
And Mr. Ladd, I've listened carefully. I do agree with my colleagues. My vote today also is to revoke your parole. So today's how your parole is being revoked. Good luck to you, sir. Does that conclude us at Orleans? That concludes our business at Orleans. Thank you so much. We're going to sign off at 10:15.